would you agree with this fact that it seems the lending in most Nigerian banks is concentrated on corporate and commercial market segments with limited exposure to small businesses like you just mentioned?
Absolutely, because the risk profile is, you have to look at it. What is the banker's risk appetite? And apart from the typical risks that goes with lending to SMEs, you also want to look at country risk. You want to look at political risk. You want to look at governmental risk. You want to look at economic risk itself. But then let us leave all that behind. But we are looking at the major risk, which is the major impediment, that deter the banks from looking at SME portfolios, and that is the energy to produce. We want to see infrastructure, which is, of course, the government primary responsibility to navigate the path leading to a robust infrastructural platform that we should have in this country. Once that happens, it will go a long way to reducing the risks that scare the banks from looking at the SMEs, apart from the traditional SME risk in terms of attempting to get funding from the bank. And so we look at that in the Nigerian context, that is the major problem that we have. And it is beyond the capacity of lenders themselves.
So how can, because we said that small businesses drive economic growth.
Yeah.
How can they, address risk management? How can they bring it into focus and ensure that that the banks are able to give them the money that they want?
In developed countries, which we are trying to catch up with, the system they put in place, and which has resulted to a large concentration of banks looking to fund SME businesses, no matter the size, is that there should be a national credit guarantee corporation. Again, it's like infrastructural development that we talk about. No individual can say, I generate electricity, as it were. So the government needs to put in place a robust system that will encourage banks to lend to the SMEs. That is to say, a risk-sharing institutional initiative is required. So if you have a national credit guarantee corporation set up by the government with a huge capital outlay, and said banks will put up this institution and so that they can collaborate with you to share risk associated with lending to the SMEs.
Well, don't we have these
we don't have
vehicles?
No, we don't have these vehicles in Nigeria. We have it in South Korea, we have it in Malaysia, we have it in Singapore. Even in Cameroon here we have it. And I've been saying this since 1980s to date. That has been the campaign, and nobody is paying attention to that. And it's amazing. Sometimes I laugh at people. People come up and said, we want to pay attention to SME development. And even the SME themselves lack the knowledge. Not that they are not aware of this, but I think something is fundamentally wrong. That when we get to the level where we need to sustain our campaign for things that will better the lot of the nation, we step it aside and start pursuing personal agenda.
Well, I want to say that to some extent, the government has been able to do what it can in terms of driving growth.
No, you have to lay your hands on something significant. When you said, I believe government has been able to do a lot. Yes, there's no doubt about that. A lot of funds has moved from one place to the other in the name of targeting to develop SMEs. But at the end of the day, you find that the SMEs still remain where they are.
Okay, I want to believe that you work with agencies that monitor small businesses, for instance, Maiden, NASME, and do you work together to, tell the government what you expect them to do, and how have they responded to these needs?
Look, I could recall in the 80s, I've submitted up to 5 proposals to the government then, when it was Ministry for Industry and Commerce. I sent proposal to them. I told them, you have to set up the Credit Guarantee Corporation. I even invited the Korean Credit Guarantee Fund, which is funded, yes, by the federal government, by their own home government. And they wrote me a letter and said, we need to secure the federal government invitation. Then we'll come, because they are government agency, to help set up a credit guarantee that will drive the banks to lending to SMEs. And virtually all Nigerian banks, they are aware of this. They go to Korea, they know about Korea Credit Guarantee Fund. And we're trying to partner to broker relationship. You know, Nigerian is unique. When you have a novel idea, you put it on the table, oh, they'll congratulate you, thank you. The next thing after that is somebody else will put, carry it, dust it off, and put another name to it.
I want to believe that the Ministry for Trade and Investment is listening. The minister is listening
I hope
to this conversation, and I want to believe something will be done, and that will be looked into. But let's just move on. Now, we've just finished the hosting of the World Economic Forum for Africa, which focused on forging inclusive growth and creating jobs. Now, how important is a strong consumer credit or business credit, like you mentioned, strong consumer credit and business credit system towards achieving this?
Well, it is unique. I mean, Nigeria have had a very beautiful opportunity to announce its investment potential to the world, with the incidence of World Economic Forum on Africa. And I think basically, as credit specialists, we would say that good initiative, good intention, but something suddenly came, which we call one of the C's of credit, conditions, circumstances, came up and trying to undermine the import of that forum that took place in Nigeria, which basically was intended to throw up investment opportunities in this country, which of course was intended to create confidence in the Nigerian economic and investment landscape. Be that as it may, I think it's a good thing, but then we are faced with Boko Haram. We are faced with, largely Boko Haram, because Nigerian problem is known to the world over in terms of insecurity before now, but it has gone to the height of it.
Now, the Boko Haram you've just mentioned is operating in the northeast of Nigeria, but we have other parts of Nigeria as well. How can we drive growth with this?
You see, if you look at a country from this point of view, that it's not going to be sanctional. When we are talking about investment flowing down to the country, people want to see, people want to look at the total country and not just one side. Yeah, one side is crucial, but if I want to do a rating on South-South or Southwest or Southeast, of course, they will enjoy a bigger rating than if I place rating on the North. They said, in terms of investment, that, okay, we've had World Economic Forum and big-time investors came in there and they are exploring what lucrative business sectors to put down their money. Of course, they will consider, looking at the political risk and country risk, they will consider the South-South, the Southeast, and down to the Southwest. Okay. And then, but what about other economic growth component that is you can't find in the South, East and Southwest, that you have to look at the core North, such as agriculture and the solid mineral and the rest of them? Because investors, not everybody is looking at oil and gas. Not everybody is looking at telecom. So it has to, for a country to be seen as robust and economic, in economic drive or development, the development must be evenly distributed. And then investment has to go. It's so that at the end of the day, you don't have a problem on your hand where the young graduate from that side will flunk other side of the country, simply because they will tell you, we don't have industries located in our side, no investment in our side, and all that. So you find that anything that is happening in the North will have a dramatic negative effect on huge opportunities that we have down here in the South.
Okay, I just wanted to hold on for a minute and catch some breath. We'll go on a break and we'll return and continue with our conversation. We've been talking to Dr. Chris Onalu. He is the CEO, Institute of Credit Management, and we have been looking at consumer and business credits in the country. We'll be right back.